Okay, so today is April 21st, 2014. I am Sue Moulton, Director and Recruiter with the Pampered Chef from Boscawen, New Hampshire. We are starting a new series called Step Up Your Business, and we're going to be talking about over the next 5 or 6 weeks how exactly to implement some life skills that if you practice and put them into your everyday business will increase your sales. It'll give you more confidence, and it'll just help your business move forward to the next step. And our goal is that if your desire is to move into team leadership or a director, that this will be exactly what you need, the habits of successful people to getting into directorship. So the first thing, you guys are going to end up unmuting yourself, and I'll go right down the screen of everybody. I'll call you out by name one at a time, but if you'll just tell me introduce yourself and tell us one thing that you're proud of about your Pampered Chef business. And it could be anything at all. It doesn't have to be anything big or small, just one little thing that you would say that is an accomplishment or that you're proud of. So we're going to start with Kristen Smith, who, if you'll unmute yourself, Kristen, and introduce yourself to the team.
Hi, I'm Kristen Smith. One thing that I'm proud of, I guess, is I had a pretty successful grand opening, and my grand opening was last weekend, and I've already got one recruit lead that I just kind of happened to come upon opening a bank account. So I guess I'm pretty proud that I heard Sue's advice and actually put it into action.
Excellent job. That's very good, Kristen. Yes, so we always talk about when you are a new consultant and you open your checkbook that your first person that you should be communicating with is the banker, and that you don't just tell them you're opening an account, but that you use that as an opportunity for out and abouts. And that's part of what we're going to talk about today. I'm not sure I'm going to get to all the literature that's on this, but out and abouts is one of them. So great. Thanks, Kristen. If you'll mute yourself. Kim McLean, you're next on the list. If you'll introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Kim McLean. I live in Tilton. Probably the thing I'm most proud of is the fact that I'm still with it after 2 years. I've done direct sales before and it wasn't successful, but this time I'm proud that I'm still 2 years, over the 15,000 career sales, and still long.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you, Kim. You can mute yourself. Kim also did a great fundraiser for Newfound for the DC 8th grade trip and was our top seller 1 month. So excellent. Marcy, you are next.
Hi, everybody. I'm Marcy. I'm from Milford. The thing that I'm most proud of is relaunching my business. I started my business and then we went through all kinds of crazy family stuff. I went through all the training, relaunched, and now I'm doing great.
You are. I'm so proud of you. Marcy had this great basket idea that she did out and abouts and pampering her business, of which at some point I hope that we'll be able to post. I'll post on Debbie's page the picture that you did because I thought it was great, Marcy, and then we'll share that information to the rest of the people. So thank you for sharing. Patty, you're next.
Hi, everyone. I don't know. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay, because I'm actually on my cell phone. My operating system doesn't support Zoom for some reason or another.
No problem.
The thing I'm most proud of is at my age, I decided to try something new and exciting and fun, and I'm having a real good time with it. Meeting some fascinating people, and just taking my time, not trying to make $1 million in a day. So I'm just going to slow and steady and hopefully win the race.
You are doing great. Yes. Patty's a dynamo. She's got a natural gift for the gab, and she's got a great personality for sales. So I expect Patty to continue slow and steady and do really well. Excellent. Anne Marie, you're next.
I missed the very beginning. I'm not sure what we're doing.
You're going to introduce yourself and just tell us one thing that you're proud of about your Pampered Chef business. Anything you want at all.
Okay. My name is Anne Marie Dexter, and I guess I'm proud that I took the first step to become a consultant. I just started like last Tuesday.
Oh, great. Congratulations. Have you had your grand opening yet?
Not yet.
Oh, excellent.
In the
Well,
works.
we're excited. You're smart to jump right in on this training, Anne-Marie. You're going to learn a lot of really good skills. That's wonderful. One of the things that I talked about is in the lower left-hand corner of your screen, there's a little microphone there, and you can click that. It'll mute you until we get to the part that we're conversing back and forth. That way, if there's dogs, kids, or background noise, it won't ruin the recording.
Okay.
So welcome. Excellent, Anne-Marie. Okay, Kim, you're next. I can't see Kim, and I know she's on mute, but it shows that she's on. If you unmute yourself, Kim. Oh, I don't have a mic to. Okay, so you're gonna go ahead. You're from Taunton. Excellent. And the most thing you're most proud of is that I'm not giving up. Yay! I got to tell you, Kim, that was my story. I did this 7.5 years, just one show at a time, until I ended up going full time and earning gold level cruises. So. All kinds of amazing trips. So good for you. Don't give up. Okay, so we're going to get started. Let me tell you a little bit about what you're going to learn today. We're going to go through 5 sessions. There are 5 or 6 sessions in this, and each one is packed with information. So I'm going to try to do the best I can to get through all of the information. You guys should have gotten a Step Up Your Business play sheet that looks like this with little dots all over it. And that was kind of like the beginning part. And then there was another sheet that had little check boxes on it for you that looks kind of like this. Let me get a little closer so you guys can see. Can you see that?
Yep.
All right. So those I posted it on the Facebook page. So you can get those right online if you don't have them. They're on the Pampered Chef website under the training resources under Step Up Your Business. So you absolutely can get those and watch it, download the stuff from there and then and keep up with what we're doing. So you're gonna have play places. So there's gonna be a little bit of homework with each of these lessons. The first thing we're gonna talk about is why we are starting our Step It Up program. So everybody's kind of got some goals about what they hope to achieve. I want to hear, and you guys can just unmute as you have something to share, but what is one goal that is most important to you and why? It could be something to do with your business or something that this business will help you achieve in another area of your life, but just give a little shout out as to what one of your goals might be.
Retirement.
Retirement. Patty's is retirement. So excellent. Yes. So she's saving so that she can have a fun lifestyle when she retires and doesn't have to live paycheck to paycheck or week to week.
Because Social Security won't be there by the time I'm able to retire.
That's right. Because the government isn't well known for taking care of, the veterans or others. So yeah, we want to make sure that we have money set aside. Who else has a goal that they want to share? Anybody want to go to Disney? Me, Marcy. Yep. Okay. So one of my goals is to get to Disney, and also I want to earn the top level trip for Disney. And now I'm trying to also plot out food budgeting because we're going to be taking my daughter's girlfriend. So I want to figure out, certain level of income that I want to be able to set aside for fun money. So there are 3 basic elements to doing Pampered Chef, and a lot of you guys who have been around for a couple months or more have heard this, but for the new girls, it's called the 3-2-1 plan. So the 3 stands for 3 contacts a day. Our goal is to contact 3 people that are outside of our current business. So new hostesses, potential recruits. We're going to define what a lead is in a little bit, but I just want you to know that our goal is to maximize the number of contacts that we see and talk to, because the more people we talk to, the better chance that we have to increase the number of bookings that we're doing. And with every new contact, it gets you a list of leads. And sometimes I just want to explain that with a lead, it doesn't mean that every lead is going to book a show or every lead is going to join your team, but the timing might just not be right the first time you talk to them. So a lead is somebody that you can put on a rotating basis and connect with, because at some point the timing to host a show might be right. You know, their kitchen might be finished, or their kids are graduated, or they're done with the wedding that they're dealing with this summer, and the timing will be right. Other people will maybe not be interested in the business opportunity right away, but their hot water heater breaks and they need fast income and they can't find another way of doing that. Or they just decided that they're empty nesters and they really want something to do, something fun to do with their time. Or maybe they want to pay for a family vacation that they, you know, I know one lady that a lot of people in their family wanted to go on a Disney cruise, and their whole family, extended families, all these families were going on it, and she felt like, gosh, we can't afford to go with our family. So starting Pampered Chef was her way of paying for that. So you just never know. Two, so it's 3, 2, 1. 2 is 2 shows a week. And when we talk about shows, we talk about live cooking shows. We consider catalog shows and Facebook shows fluff. And what that means is that helps round out your month, but you need to be in front of live people to book more shows. Typically, if you are in front of 10 live people, 10 to 15 people at a show, then you are more apt to book 2 shows at that show. So it's important for you to know that we do want catalog shows, we do want Facebook shows, we definitely want fundraisers, but we want to be in front of live people, because when we're in front of people, we have a chance to grow our business, okay? And setting a goal of 2 shows a week is really not that much. If you think about going and getting a part-time job at the mall, any part-time job, they would ask you to work between 25 and 30 hours a week. Minimum would be 15 hours a week. With Pampered Chef, you're talking 8, maybe 10 hours a week with 2 shows, and you can get 2 shows in one day. I do 2 shows. If I'm working a Saturday, I'm doing an 11 o'clock show and a 6 o'clock show. So my 2 shows are done in one day. So you can do the same thing on a Sunday, a Saturday. I know some people that do mini shows and they do a 10, a 2, and a 7. So it's up to you. My suggestion, if you are looking to move into directorship, is that you want to try to be selling at the $2,500 level yourself personally, and that you set a goal for how many shows you want your team doing, because eventually you're going to be recruiting people, and you want to have a team goal for team sales. So just keep that in the back of your mind, because we'll talk more about that in a bit. And then, and by the way, if you're doing 2 shows a week consistently, you are truly on track for earning Disney. That you could earn your way to Disney by 2 shows a week without recruiting a single person. You could recruit your way to Disney without selling much of anything. So it's a combination of both that makes it the easiest way to get there. But I just want to tell you that 2 shows a week would absolutely put you on track for Disney. And then 1 recruit a month. Holding 8 shows a month puts you in front of about 80 people. And Pampered Chef has done studies that about 20% of all the shows that we book will either reschedule or cancel. So if you want 6 live shows held, you have to book 8. If you want 8 live shows held, you have to book 10. And that you're going to coach our hostesses to have 15 or more live guests at their show. But on average, you know, you're going to get some that have the 15, but then some that have 6 or 8 or 2. So on average, you'll probably see about 10 people per show. So that's going to put you between 60 and 80 people per month that you're going to see. And if you learn what full service checkout is, and you learn to do that right away at the beginning of your business, you're going to be so happy, because what's going to happen is you're going to recruit between 1 and 2 people a month, simply by the sheer numbers of the people that you're going to come across if you actually inform and invite. So that's important for you guys to know. The key to building a big list, and the reason for that, is because you always want to have people from whom you can pull from the not now list and talk to them about it later. And that's really key to moving into the management section of Pampered Chef, into directorship. So I just wanted to talk about that. Now, you guys are going to end up getting derailed here for a second, because there are often obstacles that will derail you with your success plan. one of the things that I find is we get distracted. So I'm going to ask you guys to unmute yourself, and I'm going to ask you to tell me some of the things that derail you from making contacts. What are some of the things that keep you from connecting with people, making your 3 contacts a day? Hi, Shirley. Can you stick your, I don't know if you guys can mute your phones. Do you have a mute on your phone too?
I do wear a mute. I don't know which.
Maybe under phone, you hit the phone part where it's like the dial, and then maybe there's a mute there. I'm not sure. So, well, actually, we're going to be talking in a second, so that's fine. So, Kristen, you're unmuted. Can you tell me something that keeps you from making your 3 contacts a day? What are some obstacles that can derail you from success?
Fear of rejection.
Fear of rejection. Yes, very good. Who else has an answer? What else keeps you from getting derailed here?
Lack of quiet time.
Lack of quiet time. Very good. Very good. Who else?
Just getting caught up in life.
Getting caught up in life. Yep. Finding the time, getting organized enough. Kim says, I work full time and I don't like to talk to people. That's so funny. I got to tell you, none of us like to talk to people. Even me, who's a top seller and recruiter, I hate getting on the phone. We all do. Patty,
that's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say. The fear of getting on the phone or not liking to get on the phone.
Yes, exactly. So let me tell you, do you think that these statements are true? I can't find the time to make the contacts. I don't know who to contact. And I don't know what to say. So those pretty much cover the things that would derail us from getting on the phone.
It's more or less not knowing what to say.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
So, exactly.
You don't want idle chit chat. How's the weather, and then go into
yes.
blah blah blah.
Well, I'm so glad you're on this call, Patty, because I actually have scripts that I'm going to make available to you. So we're gonna come over or overcome all these objections, finding the time, who to call, and what to say by going through some little trainings here. So the first thing is I'm going to list off 5 different categories. If we can make it through all these 5, I'll be really happy, but I don't know that we're going to make it through all of them. First one, make time to work. That's going to be a category. Second one, the courage to connect. The third one, where's the leads? So who to call? Fourth one, out of the blue. That's where you're going to find scripts, Patty. And 5 is called make a tote. So,
I'm sorry, what was 2?
First one, make time to work. Second one, courage to connect. Third one, where's the leads? Fourth, out of the blue. And 5, make a tote. So making time to work. This is the secret of time effectiveness and tips for your calendar. And so I'm just going to jump right over to that one. And I'm going to highlight some things on it. Okay. So first thing is, we all say that there are those 3 things that keep us from making our contacts, but let's face it, time is a big obstacle that a lot of people say, I'm just too busy, whether it's our hostesses or whether we say that to ourselves, that we're just too busy to get this stuff done. So there are some things that we need to do in order to be successful in this business or in life in general. The first one is that no one finds time. You don't find it, you make it, right? You have to make the time. So you have to make it a priority. So in order to make it a priority, you're going to grab your day timers. If you guys have your day timers or your planners with you, I don't know whether you use electronic or whether you use paper, but I want you to pull your day timers out because you need to learn to schedule time to work on business. And I'm going to give you some tips on how to do it effectively. I'm just going to minimize my screen so I can see what time it is. Oh my gosh, it's almost 8. If we have to stop this recording and we get booted off this after an hour, I will restart again, or I'll record and you guys can watch another time. First thing, time scheduled for your business should be spent on business, not getting distracted with other things. So let's share for a second some of the things that distract us when we're ready to get sitting down and doing business stuff. Do you guys have specific things? Patty?
Life.
Life. For me, Facebook or emails totally derail me. If I have like a goal of what I need to do and I sit down and all of a sudden somebody's like, ping, ping, and then if I jump over to Facebook, even if it's children, Kim says, to just look at something, I will get derailed on that. So what do we need to do?
Stay focused.
Stay focused. So we need to plan ourselves a way to stay focused. So for me, if I have some specific tasks that I have to accomplish, I will not open my Facebook and I will not open my email. And I've learned just recently to shut my phone ringer off, because I get notifications on my phone, you know, like when you get a text or you get an email, and that ping, oh my gosh, I did not realize it until my phone hit the toilet and it was dead silent for 4 days here because I had no phone. I was like, I had no idea how much of a slave I was to my phone, to the sounds of my phone. And I'm a bunny chaser. I'm squirrel, you know, I'm off looking at something else. So it's really important to know yourself. So Kim shared that, I think it was Kim, that kids are a distraction. So I'm going to make a suggestion for you, Kim. You have a box of special toys that are only brought out for 1 hour a day. These toys are only allowed to be played with when mommy is working on Pampered Chef. The kids understand that. They have special things in it that they really want to play with. You prep them in advance. Everybody goes pee, everybody gets a drink, everybody gets a snack, everybody gets what they need. And then you say, okay, I'm going to do business for 1 hour. And maybe you need to break it up into smaller chunks, a half an hour, or even 15-minute segments. But you explain to them that this box of toys is only available while mommy's on the phone. Okay, it's not while you're doing paperwork or those type of things, because those type of activities, a neighborhood kid could babysit, or one of the other spouses, or you know, a friend can watch your kid, because noise doesn't necessarily matter when you are entering a show or you're setting up events or things like that. What you don't want to have happen is kids screaming in the background or asking, Mom, I need toilet paper, when you are trying to make a professional business call. So for a half an hour or 1 hour a day, I recommend that there are a special box of toys just for the children. So know what your distractions are, and then let's work at setting them aside, because you can get so much done. We're going to talk about the power hour. You can get so much accomplished in 1 hour if you stay focused on the task that you're doing and that you group your tasks together. Meaning, I recommend that you call all your hostesses on the same day of the week. So let's say that's Mondays. So on Mondays, for 15 minutes, you are calling all your hostesses. So if you have 8 shows on your calendar, you're calling 8 people. That shouldn't take you more than 15, maybe 30 minutes tops. And you're going to call them, and you're going to do different host coaching calls. And there's host coaching checklists on Pampered Chef website on what to say on each of the calls. But there are 3 basic calls. So you're making 3 calls. So the first Monday of the month, you're calling next week's show, finding out final directions and confirming recipe and final head count. You're calling week number 2 of the month, and that's their second phone call, and you're working on the second phone call off the host coaching checklist. And the 3rd week of the month, you know, you're still on Monday of the first week, you're calling the 3rd week people, and that's their very first. You're building their wish list, their guest list, and that kind of thing. So every Monday, if you spend a half an hour calling your hostesses, done. Then you could take another half an hour, and you could be calling potential recruits, hostesses that you think would be great at this business, people that you met for an out and about, or doing customer care calls. And we're going to have scripts for that called out of the box calls. So if you allot that time, and you might have to break it up into 2 half-an-hour segments or 3 15-minute segments, but if you stick to making all the same phone calls during that same time frame, you will get better with your calls. If you're making a host coaching call, then a recruiting call, then you're talking to me or your director, then you're talking to somebody on your team, your brain is stopping and starting different activities. It's not very productive. You'll get a lot more done if you group like activities. Number 2, You absolutely want to focus on income producing and team building activities, things that are going to build your future. Don't get consumed by busy work, especially during the hours that you could be on the phone. I do not want to see you guys playing Candy Crush between 6 and 9 at night. You can play all you want after 9 at night, because that's when people should not be calling other people for business. You should not be making business phone calls after 9 at night. So you want to be making your business phone calls between dinner time and 9 at night. Or if you can get daytime phone numbers, quick phone calls during the day. And I'll teach you guys how important it is to just ask for a daytime phone number and say, do you have a break? Are you available at lunch? Or do you have a break during the day that I can call you? Or is it easier if I communicate via text? That way you can get a lot of your business work done during the day if you have time during your lunch to make that. Those are called the pockets of time. Here's another suggestion. Kim, I'm not sure if you work full-time or if Anne-Marie works full-time, but if you guys do and you actually have to drive to a job, other than Patty, who goes in at some god-awful early hour of the morning, a lot of people can show up a half an hour early to work, or stay in the parking lot a half an hour after you get out of work. Don't go home. Sit in the parking lot, have your notebook of addresses and phone numbers, and do your business calls right then and there. You don't have any kids screaming at you. You don't have clothes and things to take care of and laundry. All you have is you and your car. And you can have a mobile office by just having a notebook, and that's called the power hour. And we'll talk more about that. So work on income producing activities. And I really want you guys to think about what those entail, because you really want to make sure that you don't feel like you're being busy all the time, but you're really not doing things that are producing income. That was one of the things I had to really work on. There are two different types of work. We can do paper type work or people type work. And let me tell you, people type work creates income. Paper type work has to be done. We all have to submit our shows and enter our orders and file our paperwork and all that good stuff. But do those on off hours. Do those in lump sums. Pay your teenagers to make your host packets. Use your time wisely on people, whether it's your hostesses, your potential recruits, your team members. People work makes you money. Okay, so let me just check. I want to stay on task here. Okay, so having your phone numbers handy is really key. That's one of the ways to stay organized. I know that when you sit down to do phone calling, if it takes you an hour to clean off your desk and get yourself organized, you're wasting a lot of time. I'll admit that that used to be me, but I'm getting so much more organized, and I'll quickly show you my notebook and what I do quickly, just so that you guys know. And by the way, we have 10 minutes left, and then we're going to have to re-record. So if you guys can see this, this is my little notebook here. And inside this notebook, I will show you, has little folders that show different activities. So this one says active shows, and it's the type that pull out of a notebook. So it's the polyurethane with dual pockets. And so what I can do, like when I went to a retreat, I grabbed the notebook that said potential hosts and potential recruits, so that if I had any spare time, I could actually make some phone calls because I had all their contact information. Now, I will admit I'm a little lazy about how I do my forms. I use the yellow sheet of my order form, and it has their name, address, phone number, who I met them, which show I met them at. All that information is on there. So I just think that that's, you know, I use that and it works really great. So here's something I want you to think about. What could you do if you didn't have time and there were no other ways for you to do it? If you had to sit down, if you couldn't do an hour, what are some other locations, and I mentioned a few, that you could snag time to make calls or to do business? What were some of the other things I mentioned? If you didn't have a whole hour together, what are some other ways that you could do work?
Lunchtime.
Lunchtime, very good. What else did I mention?
After work, before you go home.
Right, after work before you go home in your car.
One you didn't mention, maybe while out running errands, take 15 minutes before you go home after running your errands.
Yes.
Make them think you're still running errands.
Yes. If you're sitting in the car waiting in line to pick up your kids from school, you could probably make one phone call, maybe two.
Sitting at a ball game.
Yes, Shirley was at a ball game today, exactly. So you could walk off to the sidelines where it's not so noisy, and if you had your phone numbers and stuff like that, you can make your calls then. So exactly. So here's a little challenge for you guys, which I thought would be really good. You know our clock kitchen timer, it has a counting up mechanism. It has a counting down where it beeps, but then it also has a counting up and it has a clock on it. I'd like you guys to consider setting it to the counting up mechanism and timing some of the activities that you do. Like if you're making a host coaching call, actually time it, because you might be surprised that it only took you 3 minutes. Where you think, oh my gosh, I have to make a call. Oh my gosh, and it takes you 20 minutes to get ready to make a 3-minute call. So I want you to time some of the things that you do, even your paperwork, like so that you just have a handle on how long it really takes you to do some of that stuff. And then you'll be a little bit more conscientious about what's involved. Okay, so I'm going to move on. Courage to connect. We are down to 6 minutes. We'll be fine. Courage to connect. So making contacts every day needs to be a habit that you create in order to be successful. Over the next couple of weeks, we're going to explore who you're going to contact, okay? We're going to tell you where to come up with these leads, and we're going to tell you what to say. But what's more important is that you have the confidence to reach out and do it. So courage, just so you know, isn't the lack of fear. You know, somebody who's courageous isn't that they're not afraid. It's that they did the activities even though they were afraid. That's really courage. So I want to talk to you. I want to ask you guys to write down a couple things for me, okay? And then you're going to answer it, so you're going to have to unmute yourself. So I'm going to read a couple statements to you, and after each one, I'll give you just a moment to write down your first thought that comes to mind. You guys ready? Nod your heads. Yep. Okay, good. Making a business call is blank. What 2 words describe the emotions you feel when it's time to make business phone calls? What 2 words describe the emotions that you feel when it's time to make business phone calls?
Apprehensive.
What's that?
Apprehensive
Oh, good, good.
and anxious.
And anxious. Excellent. Those are on my list over here too. Making contacts while out and about is? Making contacts while out and about is? One more.
Scary.
Uncomfortable.
Scary.
Very good. Okay. What
I mean,
2
people
words?
won't even look at you when you walk down the street and say hi.
I know. Today my daughter was like, Mom, why do you have to be so friendly? I was talking to the guy at Agway while we're picking up grass stuff. Like, it's just who I am everywhere I'm at. And what 2 words describe the emotions you feel when you realize that you have the opportunity to connect with somebody while you're out and about? So 2 words that describe the emotions when you feel
Excitement.
when you realize, yeah, that you have the opportunity to connect with somebody on an out and about.
Nervous.
Nervous? Excited? Heard a couple up there.
Yep.
Okay, so making business calls is, give some shout outs.
Threatening.
What else?
Nerve-wracking.
Yep. Now, in what ways do you think that your thoughts and emotions affect your willingness to make a contact?
It completely does.
Yeah. Put the off button on.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so if you were answering these questions and that brought up negative thoughts or feelings that created, what do you think that created those negative thoughts and feelings?
Just being uncomfortable approaching people that you don't know.
Fear. Yep.
Insecurities.
Insecurities and fear. Yep. So I'm going to share something with you that I learned from Jim Rohan. He's a motivational speaker. Just love him. And I get you can get daily bites from him. And here's one of the things that he said on one of his CDs that my son and I did when he was in junior high. Do what is hard until it is no longer hard. So I want you guys to share an example of something. It doesn't have to be Pampered Chef related, but like learning to ride a bike was hard. There was a lot of tumbling and knee scratching and blood and all kinds of stuff until you learn to ride a bike. My daughter's just learning. She's finishing up driver's ed now. It was hard to drive a car when she first got behind the wheel, you know? So what other things have you experienced that were hard to do when you first started, but are easier to do now?
Get in front of people.
Get up in front of people. Good, Shirley. What else?
Bartending.
Bartending. Yeah, that was really hard at first, trying to remember drinks and what goes in them and everything. What else?
Public speaking.
Public speaking. Excellent. Those things are
Giving a
getting
shot.
easier and easier. What was that?
Giving a shot.
Giving a shot to your nurse, huh?
A medical assistant.
Oh, yes, I bet that. And Kim says, talking about Pampered Chef to strangers. So those things get easier the more you do them. So that's really good that you guys are saying that. I just want to read this to you. This is a quote from Chicken Soup series by Jack Canfield and comes from the Aladdin Factor as well. Most fear is self-centered. Most of us live under the illusion that things outside of us are causing our fear. But remember that while the experience of fear will be very real to you, the source of the fear is all in your mind. We're more afraid of what people are going to think of us. We're going to be afraid of if they're going to say no or reject us. But that's thinking about us and not them. We have a minute left, so I'm going to stop this recording, and then we can all jump back on. If you guys have another 15 minutes or so, we'll jump back on and do one more segment, okay? Same code. Okay.